All right, and welcome back to Beyond the Campfire. I am your host, Steven, aka Sahil the Disciple. I'm here with my co host, Will, aka the Cowboy. And yeah, we are a cowboy and an Indian that talks about cults, cryptids, conspiracy theories, you name it. So, Will, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we got the most famous ship disappearance, I think, out of any ship disappearance, and that is the Mary Celeste. This was a ship that was lost back in 1872, so pretty long time ago. So we're going to be kind of diving into what happened, what could have happened, because we don't know what happened, what could have happened, and like Steven said, I am the other co-host, Will. You can, if you like what we're doing, you can keep listening, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Beyond Campfire. Um, and yeah, we're going to before we jump into this though, I got a really cool announcement for you guys. If you have been longtime viewers, I know some people have been wanting this, but we finally did it. Look at that. We've got merchandise.
And for those of you that are listening on audio only, what Will showed us was a Beyond the Campfire mug. So a mug with our logo on it. And so, yeah, that is now available for you to get if you want to support us as your podcasters, or if you just want another mug. I know a lot of us drink coffee, so you can get a official Beyond the Campfire mug.
And you're like, and if you're sitting there and you're like, I like the mug, but do y'all just have mugs? No, we have more than mugs. We have, so far, we have a phone case. We've got the mug. We've got a hat that says, it's got a little alien on it. The wife designed that. And it says, lined with tinfoil. And then we've got a hoodie that's got conspiracy brownies. And then we've got a t-shirt that's got conspiracy brownies as well. But the cool thing about that shirt, and I really like that shirt, it's got on the back, I actually wrote out like a fake recipe for how to make a conspiracy theory. So like that's one of my favorites out there. But there will be definitely more designs. If you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't want a conspiracy brownie hoodie, don't worry. There'll be plenty more designs to come out later. This is kind of what we're starting out with, because it's trying to figure out, finding people to help us design things. But other than that, we do have a couple of items on there. So if you want to support us, that's a cool way to support us. Yeah. So add aside, we are going to be talking about the Mary Celeste today, which, like I said, is this one of the. I mean, there's famous ship disappearances because we'll talk about the Bermuda Triangle later on, like in the future. But this is our first ship disappearance. I guess in a way, this could almost be. It's mostly a mystery, but I think it also could be considered a ghost ship. You know, so yeah, you ready? You ready to jump in?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, for our longer time listeners, obviously, we've been doing cryptids, cults, conspiracies, and mysteries. Me and Will were talking, and we were like, hey, what if we added, kind of ghost stories to this? So I think this is kind of a soft gateway into that. It's still a mystery, but, it does have an element of spookiness in there, too. So, I guess, yeah, this really is our first break into the maybe ghost story side of things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, without further ado, Will, take us away. What is happening? Where are we at? What's going on?
All right. Well, today we're going to be set sailing into this really great mystery. So it all began December 4th of 1872 when the British brigantine de Gracia, commanded by Captain David Morehouse, spotted a ship adrift in the choppy waters of the Atlantic near the Azores. Okay. That ship was the famous Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste had set sail from New York on November 7th, 1872, bound for Genoa, Italy. She was carrying a cargo of denatured alcohol and had a crew of 7, along with Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. When the Gradio crew boarded the Mary Celeste, they found the ship in a seaworthy condition, but completely abandoned. The sails were partly set and some were in poor conditions. The ship's single lifeboat, one lifeboat was on the boat, gone. Okay. Along with the ship's papers, except for the captain's logbook. So here's where it actually gets really strange because, okay, so far we've got the ship, right? They find an abandoned ship, and it's this ship called the Mary Celeste from New York to Italy, and it just was found drifting in the water. They board the ship, everything's intact, like nothing is damaged on the ship. Some sails are a little roughed up, but I mean that's kind of what you're going to expect at sea. The single lifeboat's gone, all the papers are gone except for the captain's logbook. Okay, so you're probably like pirates, right? Maybe, but here's where things get really strange because the cargo was intact, and there was a 6-month supply of food and water. Personal belongings were undisturbed, and there was no sign of a struggle or any violence at all. The last entry in the logbook was dated November 25th, 9 days before the ship was found, and it didn't indicate any trouble.
Wow, yeah. I mean, when you were describing everything, instantly my mind's like, yeah, this is pirates. They came, they attacked, they took away all the things. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that were left behind. There was no signs of a struggle. So yeah, very strange. I am concerned that there's only one lifeboat. You would think they'd have more, but that's already a weird thing too. But wow, what a weird scene so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I wrote down how many people were on the Mary Celeste. Because like I said, there's the captain. I think I did mention in here how many people were on board the boat. Yeah, I had a crew of 7, and then the captain, his wife, and a 2-year-old daughter. So, I mean, one lifeboat makes sense to me just because, you only have 7, 8, like 10 people on board the boat. 10. So,
we'll get into theories in just a second, but Will, do you think it's at least possible that maybe all the members were able to get on the lifeboat and go away?
I mean, well, that's the issue though, is that there is no evidence. Nobody knows everybody was gone. The lifeboat's gone. Papers are gone, but everybody's stuff is still there, and the cargo's intact. The ship's intact. Everything's intact, and it just looks like they got raptured or something.
Yeah,
and they took their clothes with them. Nothing is there's no bodies. There's no clothes. There's no struggle. Nothing. Just gone. And that's the strange thing is it takes place in 1878. It's not like it was an early modern, tale. This is it's pretty modern, but it took place in the 1870s. So it's kind of what happened to them?
Right. No, for sure.
So I found this webpage called the Clue Collective. And they have mystery history, the top 10 theories explaining why the Mary Celeste crew disappeared. Okay. So the first theory, okay, and this is why this episode might take a little bit longer. It's kind of a quick episode just because there's, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Ship was set sailing, crew disappeared. We don't know what happened. So we have, I think this has 10 theories, like I said, and then there's an article I found that I'm going to read from that kind of goes into what could have happened. And that's kind of I might lean into one of these more crazier theories, but I think this research might be the best answer to what could have happened. But again, there's some things that are kind of wrong with it that we'll get into and kind of explain. So I guess we'll kind of go through each one, give a reason why we might agree with it, why we might disagree with it. And I guess go from there. So the first theory is mutiny, that there was mutiny on board. And it says Frederick Solly Flood, described as a man whose arrogance and pomposity were inversely proportional to his IQ, was in charge of the Mary Celeste's salvage hearings. One of his theories was that the crew got drunk off the alcohol, which was non-potable because it was basically ethanol. Then they killed Captain Briggs, his family, and the ship's officer, then fled out into the wilds of the sea. So kind of straightforward, They got drunk because, the alcohol was pretty much straight, ethanol. and they just killed everybody and fled off the boat. But then again, like I said, there's no bodies, so they probably had to throw the bodies off the boat, and that could kind of, I guess, I can kind of see that one working because you kill people, you throw them off the boat kind of drifts for a little bit, so then you don't find the bodies, and maybe sharks ate them.
Another thing I do wonder though is, I mean, these people must have been very, very drunk if they didn't struggle. Because one of the things you mentioned was there was no signs of struggle.
Right.
I'm thinking if I'm doing a mutiny, I'm going around, I'm killing each person one by one, throwing them off the boat. At least one person, hopefully, is waking up and saying, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And at least some struggle happens.
Mm-hmm. And that's
maybe they're just that drunk that this guy kills them all without that happening. But okay, I'm maybe
I could maybe
theories though.
I could maybe see it just because, but here's the other issue. Like you just said, there was no signs of a struggle. So the theory is like these guys got drunk and then they attacked the captain, his wife, and their child, and then took over the boat and then fled. Well, the problem with that is, there would have to be signs of a struggle because I'm pretty sure the captain's not drinking. I'm pretty sure a 2-year-old's not drinking. There would have to be a blood stain somewhere, So that's that theory, the kind of the mutiny theory. The next one's a little bit longer, and this is actually a insurance fraud theory. So, in a further twist, according to Solly Flood again, James Winchester, who had a stake of ownership in the Mary Celeste, had assembled the crew specifically for the task of murder. The reason Solly Flood gave for Winchester's murder plot was insurance fraud. There was also the possibility that the captains of the Gradia and the Mary Celeste had formulated their own insurance fraud conspiracy in which Captain Briggs disappeared with a share of the cash. A very dramatic mystery indeed, eliciting exactly the huge amount of attention you want when you are carrying out fraud. Though Solly Flood believed that the Mary Celeste cargo was overinsured, it wasn't. There was no reason to commit fraud. Ironically, in 1885, the new captain did overinsure the cargo and wrecked the fixed-up Mary Celeste on the coast of Haiti, an actual attempt at insurance fraud, and he was caught. So if you're kind of wondering what happened to the Mary Celeste, there you go. After the whole mystery disappearance, she was captained by a new guy, and he took out a huge insurance loan and then crashed the ship into Haiti and got busted.
Hey, man, this insurance stuff, a lot of things they can get you with, so. All right.
I don't think that one's true because, like they said, the cargo is not overinsured. And you would think if you were trying to do an insurance fraud, you wouldn't have, the cargo would have been wrecked, damages to property. But no. So that one did get quickly kind of cut out.
Yeah. I got a quick interjection. I've heard some pretty crazy insurance fraud stories over the years. I won't get into all of them, but yeah, I mean, it's like women killing their husbands and saying oh yeah, my husband, he just died, and now give me millions of dollars.
What do you mean? He just tripped and fell on my nail gun.
I know, right? Yeah.
He tripped. I swear, officer, the gun just had a mind of gun violence, man. The gun had a mind of its own.
Right. Actually, a lot of them have been, weirdly enough, women drowning their husbands in the bathtub and saying, "Oh, my husband drowned." So, if you're looking to commit insurance fraud and don't really like your husband, just drown him in a bathtub. That seems to have worked.
Officer, I swear, the toaster just fell in the bathtub. Dude, have you seen those bath bombs that people there's a bath bomb company and they made a toaster bath bomb?
They made a toaster bath? No.
It looks like a toaster and you can put it in the bath.
Does it just, okay, if they're selling it, I'm assuming it doesn't actually kill you, but does it smell does it smell like the toaster?
Let me look up, I'll actually look this up.
Okay, that's really funny. So okay, anyway, Haley's definitely going to make these a clip later. Lady, by the way, don't actually kill your husbands. That was a joke. Beyond the Campfire is not liable for any husband killings that may happen over the next several months or years.
You know what's funny is that Haley did take a clip of Steven like trying to frame him as being the Atlanta serial killer.
Oh man.
So now he's trying to get other people to do his dirty work. Yeah, so it says toaster bath bombs. At least this is the one I found. There was like, I'm trying to say,
That could be a merch item for us.
cinnamon toast bath bombs.
Oh, cinnamon toast. Oh, well, that kind of makes sense.
But like they I don't know if people can see this if I show my phone. But
because you said toaster bath bombs, and I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, toaster. Hold up.
But cinnamon
See?
toast
looks like a toaster.
Oh, the bath bomb looks like a toaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People make these things, man.
Weird, man. Weird.
Like, dude. Oh my. Okay, it's funny because on Amazon it told me that like Amazon will like recommend you to like buy 2 products.
Yeah.
It wanted me to get the toaster bath bomb and a sticker that said "Live, Laugh, Toaster Bath."
Wow. Oh my goodness. Hey, what if he made Beyond the Campfire bath bombs?
See, okay, so here's
okay.
I know we're getting off topic, but part of our podcast, whether you love it or not, is we ramble. Okay, like 90% of our podcast, us rambling.
I'll bring it back. Mary Celeste bath bombs.
There we go. But no, I was okay because on our podcast, okay, so the website that we use for our merch is Printify, and they have like so many cool products that like you can use to make, and like they have it to where you can actually, the new product they got is like coffee grounds, and like you could slap your label on the coffee grounds. Well, the issue with that is, well, we're going to be using Printify for a little bit until we at least get to a point where we could kind of expand outward. I would eventually like to make because they have on Printify like candles, but it's like I don't just want to slap on a candle like our logo and just call it good. I want to, if we make a candle, Beyond the Campfire candle, or like a Beyond the Campfire bath bomb or anything like that, I want to be able to find a company that can make it for us to where we can have, Beyond the Campfire candle. Smells like, a campfire, woods, cool stuff, right? An alien spaceship candle, it smells like metal.
That would be. No. So, anyway,
that's why we're not launching that stuff.
Lest we lose the audience, maybe we should get back to.
All right. Away from bath bombs. The third theory is actually attacked by their rescuers. So there's those people that came, boarded the ship, gave this description of sails were intact, boat was intact, cargo was intact, everything was intact. This theory states that they are the ones that killed everybody. And so thus Solly Flood came to another conclusion. Perhaps Morehouse, captain of the ship, butchering the name De Gracia, had ambushed the Mary Celeste, lured them onto the De Gracia, and then murdered everyone. Never mind that, the De Gracia was a slower ship and had left 8 days after the Mary Celeste, and so in no way could set up an ambush. But an article published August 29th, 1931, and the Quarterly Review, hold up, trying to, come on, open and new tab, thank you. Loved this theory and wrote that Morehouse was sailing under an alias and that he was a man of evil repute named Boyce. Where does the name Boyce come from, you may ask? In 1913, the Strand magazine published a fraudulent account of Abel Fadisk, who said he had been on board the Mary Celeste and survived. Apparently, during a swimming contest, everyone drowned or got eaten by sharks. Oh. Except him. Numerous facts in the Strand article were wrong, including changing Morehouse to Boyce. So I mentioned that article. Did it? Wait, where'd the article go?
Either drowning or being eaten by sharks.
Yeah. Well, because of the theory.
The right options.
Oh, hold up. Because it's got the.
Will, real quick, would you rather drown or be eaten by sharks? Which is the ideal way to go?
God, that's tough. Because, like, okay, I can't.
I might be wrong. I think I would choose drowning because I've heard it's somewhat peaceful. Whereas if you're getting eaten by sharks, like, there's absolutely no way that's going to be peaceful at all. Yeah.
That's
But if if the shark chops my head off at the beginning, then maybe I'm good. Because maybe
see,
that's like an instant death, whereas a drowning is kind of a slow death, don't you think? I don't know.
yeah. See, that's the. I mean, yeah. That's where I'm like, yeah. No, I think sharks would be like you said. Sharks would be a little bit better, just be. But that's the thing too. Is like, I mean, you're not gonna know where the shark's gonna bite you. But I feel like either way, bleeding out, like depending if it like bites your arm off or whatever, I feel like you can bleed out pretty quickly. Whereas with drowning, it's kind of like slow, suffocating death. You know.
But yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe we do a post with a poll and
Would you
maybe
rather be eaten by a shark or drown?
and then see what Instagram tells us. But I digress.
Oh. The next theory is what we were talking about earlier, pirates. This is actually a really short one. Wait, before I go on pirates, I was going to try to read that article because the Clue Collective put a link to download the article. I can't read it. It's tough to read it. Anyways, back to the pirates. In the 1870s, Riffian pirates roamed the waters off the coast of Morocco. However, the personal possessions of the crew, some of which were very expensive, were untouched. The theory, as they say, holds a little water. Pretty quick theory.
I don't know, man. I think the One Piece is real. That's an anime reference for for Haley to make later. But anyway, go ahead.
The fifth theory is water spouts. Have you? Yeah, water spouts. I saw a water spout one time.
You did?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna. You want to read the theory first? Or you want to tell you my water spout theory, my water spout sighting?
Okay, read the water spout theory first, and then tell us when you saw.
These look horrifying. Not even Dorothy and Toto would fare well in a face-off against these water tornadoes. That's how they started off. A violent water spout may explain the disappearance of the Mary Celeste crew. The state of the ship when found was seaworthy, but worse for wear. The sails were ragged, and there was water in the ship's bilge. A water spout could have caused low barometric pressure, which could have forced water from the bilge up into the ship's pumps. Because this crew may believe that the Mary Celeste had taken on more water than it actually had, it was about to sink, and as a result, abandoned ship. That to me is kind of one of the more probable theories.
You think that's one of the more probable ones? Really?
Well, I mean, the water coming up, thinking it's going to flood because they found water down there.
That's a good point. I feel like if there was a water spout, more things would have been tossed about. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, so my water spout story. So as you guys know, me and Steven are from Georgia. They're called Tybee Island. And so we went there. I think, what is that place called? Anyways, we went to the water park, and I think it was me. This was probably like 10 years ago. I was, a little fella, right? And my brother and my grandpa were going down a water slide or something. It was either my grandpa or my dad. And they closed down the park because there was bad weather coming in and everybody was freaking out. And so if you've ever been to Tybee Island, there's kind of like two roads you can take. You can either go, one way and you kind of go down towards Tybee Island, or you can keep going straight and you go across that big old bridge and then you get onto St. Simon's Island. There was a water spout right there at the bridge. And we were just sitting there like, oh, it's bad weather. And then we look off in the distance, you can see a water spout. And it's like, they weren't kidding about the bad weather.
Which I don't know if we told the audience, but if you can imagine like a water tornado, that's kind of what a water spout is.
Dude, that's my favorite scene in Twisters is when you have the two water tornadoes.
Yeah.
Just throwing the cow back and forth.
Yeah.
We want to call you back. We got cows.
Dude, it's funny that we're talking about this because I was literally bored at the office earlier today, and I was just looking up tornado facts. So when you said water spout, I was looking that up earlier today. So
see, it's funny because I've been trying to convince. I don't even think I have to convince Steven. I think Steven's on board. I do want us to eventually one day chase a tornado, just for the thrill of it, to see how good it is, how fun it is.
I would need some convincing because tornadoes are pretty scary things. But if if there's anybody in this world that could convince me to hop in a truck and drive straight into a tornado, it would be Will.
Listen, if we do it, we've got to drive the Jeep J10. Actually, probably don't want to drive that one because in Twister it did get flipped.
Yeah.
We need that Dodge.
Doors off.
Doors off. We need the Dodge. We need the Dodge truck.
Oh man. So, by the way, Beyond the Campfire does not condone you driving into a Twister. So
yeah,
do not buy
do that. If you drive into a Twister, do it at your own risk.
Yeah, not because Will and Steven told you to. So we didn't tell anybody. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So the sixth theory is sea quakes. So if an earthquake on the seabed had taken place, the resulting turbulence could have damaged the cargo of the detonator alcohol. Displaced hatches point to a possible inspection of the cargo and airing of fumes. However, the barrels were damaged. This could have led Captain Briggs to fear that his ship was about to explode. So the theory just is like there was a rumbling, an earthquake on the bottom of the ocean, shook the boat, busted open some crates. He smelled the alcohol, got a little scared, and was like, all right, we're going to blow up. Better get out of here. So.
Okay. I think I would probably need to hear, how many theories did you say there were?
That was number 6. So there's 10 of them.
Okay, I'm probably going to need to hear all of them before I kind of decide which one I like. Some of these natural disaster ones I'm a little bit skeptical of, but yeah, cool. Why don't we keep going?
Which the sea quakes one, and then this next one I'm fixing to go into, that article I mentioned, a little bit of spoiler alert for what's coming up. The article kind of explains how these two could be the most probable, and it's based off the alcohol, because number 7 is that there was an explosion on the ship. Fear of an explosion or an actual pressure wave explosion resulting from alcohol fumes and a spark may have led Briggs to assemble his crew on the lifeboat attached to Mary Celeste until danger had passed. If the rope connecting the lifeboat to the ship sapped, however, they might have soon found themselves adrift without a ship. So, I mean, that's kind of a more probable, and I'll explain why that's kind of a more probable theory at the end. Because, like I said, I did find this cool article where somebody did research on this to try to prove that this could have happened. But that would also explain the reason why cargo was pretty much intact, sails were intact, ship was intact, personal belongings were still there, and why there was no lifeboat. They just got stuck adrift and probably just eventually died.
Okay. I think I could see a case for that one. That's interesting.
Yeah. Number 8.
8?
A giant squid.
Okay. We had to have at least like one really outlandish one, right? So
Did I say we have one really outlandish one? And then there's 2 outlandish.
Are aliens on the list next? No, I'm just kidding. Tell us about the giant squid, Will.
Terrifying? No. Giant squids can be as long as 43 feet and weigh up to 600 pounds. However, evidence points to squid as prey, not predators. If you see a giant squid or even a colossal squid, just remember it's more afraid of you than you are of it. So kind of cool to think about. You know, you think about like Moby Dick. You think about like the Kraken, which there are some theories like, and we might cover the Kraken at some point on this podcast because there's some like actual factual evidence that the Kraken could be real.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people think that they just mistake it for a giant squid.
It's possible. I'll tell you this. While I don't think it's a giant squid, because of the shy nature of it, I will tell you, if I saw a giant squid in real life, I would be terrified. 43 feet. Do you know how big that is? That is huge.
Yeah, that's a big squid.
That's a big squid. I heard their eyeballs are the size of soccer balls. So, you know, our eyeballs are like the size they are. But yeah, imagine the eyeball is just the size of a soccer ball. That's insane. Wow. Big squid. So, yeah, not convinced it did it, but man, I would not want to fight a giant squid, you know. Maybe the Napi or Mothman would want to do it, but not me.
Steven's getting his girlfriends to fight for him. Wow.
All right. had to mention Nadir or Mothman at least once, right? So
not very Sigma male of you.
Okay.
Know what it is?
Hey, would it? Your wife would fight for you if you really needed her to.
Yeah, Yeah, she
But
would.
okay, I think I'm digging a deeper hole for myself. So at the risk of embarrassing myself anymore, what's the next theory, Will?
Aliens.
Right. Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it actually? No way. I called it. That's
No, but it gets funnier because like there's the 10th theory and then there's a bonus theory which I think was hilarious
right. Yeah.
because the bonus theory goes into the alien theory and it's really hilarious.
We need our tinfoil hats if we're gonna talk about.
Where did I put? I don't even know where mine's at. I think mine got thrown away.
My car somewhere.
Mine's somewhere.
Uh,
Anyways,
well, what do they say about aliens? Did they just throw that out there, or is there some
they just said because why not? Mysteries are difficult to solve.
I love that.
Listen, when something doesn't go right and you don't understand it, aliens.
Aliens is always the answer.
Your dog ran away? No, he got taken by aliens.
Aliens, yep. Mothman and not deer fighting? Nah, aliens.
Aliens. Dude, that's why we have that hat on the store.
I know. Will Steven ever get married? Nope. Aliens. Okay, sorry.
He was married, and the aliens took away his wife, and they turned her into.
Dude, I feel like I'm providing more fuel for another simp edit. Dude, I was not expecting that simp edit of me from a couple of weeks ago. So.
Dude, Haley's been on point with our edits.
Oh yeah, no, they've been funny, but yeah, I probably shouldn't give her content that helps her make this stuff, but here I am just talking. So
got to be the aliens.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we have time for one more theory, right?
Well, we got one more theory, and then a bonus theory, and then evidence for the explosion theory.
Okay, let's do it.
And then we'll just kind of talk and tell which theory we believe is the most prominent. So the 10th theory is that they just got lost. The Mary Celeste had just come out of a storm. On a previous voyage, the Mary Celeste had carried coal. This may have clogged the pump, leading to its being dismantled. Without one of his two pumps, Briggs wouldn't have known how much water was in his bilge and couldn't check by sight because of his packed cargo hold, possibly as a result of an inaccurate chronometer. Briggs was 120 miles west of where he thought he was. According to his calculations, he should have sighted land 3 days earlier than he finally did. If he believed the ship was indeed sinking due to bad weather, he may have ordered its abandonment in the hopes of reaching the shore safely.
Okay. I actually really like that one. It's not the most entertaining, but I'm like, okay. So, all right, well, let's hear your bonus theory, and then I guess we'll break down which one we think are the most likely.
All right, so the bonus theory is Arthur Conan Doyle, and to go with the aliens, Daleks.
Really?
It says
you're gonna have to walk me through that one. That's funny.
All right. So the first part, one of the main reasons the mystery of Mary Celeste is so widely known is because of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's story. J. Habak Jefferson's statement. It was a work of fiction. However, remember the U.S. Council still asked Doyle if any of it was true. The second part, Doctor Who. Okay. The first Doctor, so black and white, in Doctor Who's The Chase, Flight Through Eternity, a band of Daleks land on a ship and rampage around, questioning the crew, many of whom jump overboard. Once the Daleks leave, it is revealed that the ship is the fateful Mary Celeste. So
that's funny.
So it wasn't a Doctor Who episode.
That's kind of fun and interesting. So it's one of the earliest ones, huh?
Oh yeah, it's like way back, like first Doctor.
Oh, way back, yeah.
Yeah, first Doctor.
Good stuff, man.
So the explosion theory, which might make you be a little bit more on board with it.
That's probably the one I'm leaning to the second most after the Lost one, but go ahead and let's go ahead and break that one down because maybe you'll convince me.
All right. Well, hold up. For some reason, that's why. All right. So it says chemist finds most compelling answer to the mystery of the Mary Celeste. So this chemist did a little bit of research. Let's see. Like I said, there was no signs, but if you're curious about how much alcohol was on the ship, because we keep talking about alcohol, apparently there was 1,701 gallons of industrial alcohol. So it wasn't like, drinking alcohol. It was the industrial stuff. So like it's the heavy duty stuff. There was 3 foot of water in the hold. Lifeboat boat was gone. The theory goes that some of the alcohol could have exploded, which caused Captain Briggs to panic and order his crew to board the lifeboat. Although it sounds plausible, there's one issue. There were no signs of fire explosion on the ship when it was found. So that's like, okay, debunk it. No fire, no no soot, nothing. However, this lady named Dr. Andrea Sella tested the theory and built a replica of the Mary Celeste for a Channel 5 documentary in 2006. For the experiment, wait, I said it was a woman. That's actually a man.
Oh.
Anyways, for the experiment, he used butane gas and cubes of paper to simulate wooden barrels, and remarkably, the following explosion didn't burn, blacken, or damage the replica's hold. He said at the time, what we created was a pressure wave type of explosion. There was a spectacular wave of flame, but behind it was relatively cool air. No soot was left behind, and there was no burning or scorching. Given all the facts we have, this replicates conditions on board the Mary Celeste. The explosion could have been enough to blow open the hatches and could have been completely terrifying for everyone on board. He added, it is the most compelling explanation of all those suggested. It fits the facts best and explains why they were so keen to get off the ship.
Okay.
So that's where, we go with the explosion theory. You sit there, okay, if you go with the explosion theory, well, there's your proof. I mean, it could have actually had an explosion and done enough damage to where it wouldn't do any damage and would have left the ship in perfect condition. But, and then the crew would have just abandoned ship and it would have been okie dokie and over.
Yeah, and see, and that's the part that makes me skeptical of the explosion one is just like, how can there be no damage from an explosion? And you just walk through it, but I don't know, I just find that to be highly unlikely. So, okay. I mean, there are certain parts I do like about it. I mean, it's obviously going to beat aliens and giant squids for me. But before we get to what I think is the most likely, Will, why don't we hear what you think is the most likely theory first?
Well, there is the running joke about me and the aliens. So could everybody have been abducted? Yeah. But I think the most probable theory to me, I think is definitely the explosion theory, because as we read, they tested it. They would have found out that the explosion that would have happened would have been followed by cool air, and there would have been no soot left. There would have been no burn marks, nothing. And, to be fair, if I'm sitting there on a boat sailing around and my cargo explodes and blows open the hatches, I'm out of there. I'm not sticking around, But what if this is not the first explosion? What if there's another one to follow? And, that to me, if the explosion is like that, then that's probable to me. The other thing I could see is it being some sort of disaster, some sort of natural disaster, whether it's water spouts, whether there's a storm. I mean, the water in the hold, if the evidence proves that there was, they were carrying coal, their pumps got damaged, he can't look at the bilge to tell how much water he's got. He's afraid the ship is sinking. Why not abandon boat? So I think my two biggest probable theories is definitely the explosion, or that some sort of disaster made the captain think ship's flooding, ship's sinking. We got to get out of here.
I like that. I like that theory a lot, and I think, I mean, I think the lost at sea theory. I think just the way that, there's no fighting in that theory. The sea is a big place. It is a huge place, and compasses could go wrong. Storms can blow you off course, and I think, in a certain act of desperation, they abandon ship, hoping that maybe they can find something else. So really, for me, I found the lost ship theory to kind of make the most sense. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to take all that food and water with you either. The other belongings kind of make sense to bring out. So, and then, that would also explain why there's no bodies. So yeah, that's my take. But yeah, I mean, hey, hopefully one day we'll find out what happened with it. But as of
Yeah.
right now, it's a mystery.
I think that's what makes it so difficult. And we can say all the theories we want to say, what we think happened, what we could have been plausible, but I truly think the problem with the Mary Celeste is I think it's going to be a mystery that's going to remain a mystery for a long time. We can create however many theories we want. We can test whatever we want to test. But the hard part is the people that know what happened are gone. The crew and the captain, his wife, and their daughter, they're somewhere. They ended up somewhere, whether they were stuck at sea and just died, or if they made it to shore, we won't ever know. And I think if we could figure out if they could have come out and told their story, I'm sure they know what happened. And because they're gone, I think what truly happened to Mary Celeste is gone with them to the grave. Was it a squid? Was it aliens? Was it the Daleks from Doctor Who? Or could it have just been a simple storm? I think the Mary Celeste is going to remain one of those mysteries that's up there, like with Roanoke, to where we just never will know. We can theorize however much we want to theorize, but at the end of the day, I think the Mary Celeste will always remain a mystery. So,
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, hey, I guess that will do it for this edition of Beyond the Campfire. Will, any last minute thoughts, statements, questions, concerns?
well, I'm going to be putting on our Instagram at Beyond the Campfire. If you click on our thing, there's like a link tree. That link tree takes you to where all of our podcasts are. And I'm going to be putting in that link tree towards the top, the link for our merch store. Go buy some mugs, go buy some phone cases, go buy some t-shirts. The only issue I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys is with Printify. Printify is a on-demand printing store. So the problem with that is, like, if you order a t-shirt and you get the wrong size, it's going to be a little difficult to return, just because, I mean, we're not running Printify. We're not running our store. What you order is sent directly to them. They then print it off on their little machines, and then they send it to you. We have nothing to do with that. We just design it, slap our name on it, and that's it. So make sure you choose the right size for your t-shirts. And I always know that with hoodies, just a little thing. See, I wear a small. I know it's weird, but I always go up a size up hoodies just because it makes it a little more comfy. So definitely make sure what size you're getting, just because it's going to be a little hard to return the product. But yeah, they're really great quality. I really like the mug. I would have been drinking out of it during this, but I got to wash it because I've already used it. But yeah, that's it. Make sure you follow us at Beyond Campfire on Twitter and Instagram. Like I said, the link tree is, I think we have it in our Twitter bio as well as our Instagram bio. So just click there. I'll have it at the top, and go get some merch. And yeah, if anybody asks and they're like, "Man, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get that from?" Tell them about us, okay? Tell them about us. All right. Or the aliens are going to come get you, and they're going to steal you away from your ship.
All righty, that'll do it. Have a good one, y'all.